Okay. Welcome, everyone. I'm going to call this meeting to order at 4 p.m. Adoption of the agenda.
That West Elgin Council hereby adopts the regular council agenda for November 27th, 2025 as presented.
Move it, please. Councillor Statham, seconded. Deputy Mayor Tellier, all in favour? That's carried. Disclosure of any pecuniary interest or general nature thereof. I do, personally, and on two items, 7.5.2 and 13.3. Okay, so we go to 4, which is delegations, OPP Detachment Board. Mr. Tyler Holmes. OPP Detachment Commander, is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. It's over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I understand I was asked to present possibly on the annual report from 2024, which I'm happy to do. However, I was just speaking with Ryan. I have a more up-to-date report for this year, if you'd like. It's not going to be as fulsome as the 60-page report for the annual report, but it's going to maybe answer some of the questions that that you as a council have in relation to some of the things that are taking place in your community. So I'm kind of at your leisure to which direction you'd like me to go, but I certainly am more interested in presenting the statistics from this year, which are going to be, like I said, more helpful.
If you'll carry on with that then, please.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. And I have a comparison. If you want me to connect it to something, I'm happy to do that, but otherwise it's just going to be some information and I can share it with you after the meeting.
Thank you.
So obviously, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here. I am the new detachment commander in Elgin. I've been there for just over a year, but just recently promoted in June, and very excited to be in Elgin County. Quick little bio of me. I'm born and raised in Elgin County and I've lived here my whole life. So I was on the community policing committee as a constable for West Elgin. And once again, I'm very excited to be here and be able to present this information to you. So on an overall kind of statistics basis for West Elgin, things are actually looking very, very positive. Collision wise, you haven't had a fatal in several years. Your non-fatal injuries are actually down 20%. The area where there's a little bit of an anomaly this year is you're up 30% in your property damage collisions. Once again, a lot of those typically are car versus animal. I don't have the exact breakdown of those, but any questions that you have, or if you want answers for those things, I can get them at a later time. So you're like I said, you're at 30% increase this year in property damage collisions. So something for us to be paying attention to, but also something that may not be completely preventable. With respect to criminal code and provincial statutes, I can tell you that criminal code non-traffic and criminal code traffic charges are up in West Elgin, 14% and 50% respectively. Highway Traffic Act charges are down. That is a provincial trend that we as an organization are working with some strategies to try to make some increases and get our officers out doing more traffic stops. If you haven't had a presentation on the service delivery model, once again, it's something that I encourage every council to reach out to me, and I can have somebody from General Headquarters come out and present to you on that. At Cole's notes, high level, it's the way that the government has determined how we're going to spend our time and have given us an influx of financial incentives to bring more officers to the front line. But they've broken our day down into percentages, exactly how much time we're supposed to be spending in community involvement, proactive enforcement, administration, and calls for service. It would be a very good presentation and worthwhile for you to request at some point in the near future. Our liquor license charges are down here as well. There's only been 2 this year, but there was only 6 last year. So that is something where it's a little bit more difficult to find unless you're at a community event or an area where there's a large influx of people, but there's not a significant number of bars or places where people are consuming alcohol. So that would be the reason for that. Traffic related charges, as I said previously, our speeding charges are down 45% in West Elgin. That's something that I personally will be making sure that we address moving into the new year and into 2026 across the entire county, not just in West Elgin. Good news story, violent crime is actually down in West Elgin across the board. With exception, of assaults, which typically are representative of IPV or intimate partner violence incidents that are being reported. It also, based on the last 3 years of data, appears to me to be a bit of an anomaly. We were kind of running in the 13, 14 range for 2 years, and this year we've had 28. Otherwise, everything else is down significantly. Sexual offenses are down 66%, robberies are down 100%, those types of things. So, and that's year to date, October 31st for all of these statistics. Property crime, I understand, is something that a lot of the community members are talking about, which I've been just learning recently. One thing that I would ask from you, if you're talking to any of your constituents, but also I will make sure that we put something out in the media. If you have a crime that's occurred, call us, because I don't know that it's happening and our officers don't know. I understand that there's a perception that there's a significant increase in, those minor thefts, lawn chairs and those types of things. But there's only been 5 more incidents of theft under this year versus last year. So there's only been 21 reported in West Elgin all year versus 16 last year. So while it does show an increase, it's not something that would have jumped out at me as something that I needed to pay attention to. But certainly that is my message and will be my message through our social media, is that if you encounter a crime, call us. That's what we're here for, right? I think that's part of the issue, is that people are not necessarily calling. So with respect to drug crime, without getting into specifics and too much information, and Ida would know this, and Trudy from our detachment boards, we have a lot of ongoing investigations in this area in relation to drugs. We are aware of the drug problems that are taking place. I can't release details and I can't tell you about what our plan is in the peripherals, but I can tell you that drug crime is very serious, and I'll talk to you about the clearance rates in relation to drug crime, because compared to the rest of the county, West Elgin actually has the highest clearance rate, which means we're spending a significant portion of our time here with our community street crime unit. It's just that the investigations are lengthy. Sometimes they take 1 month to 6 months to a year to find out where the information is coming from and the source of the narcotics before we can make any moves and really conduct any enforcement. So I think there was another question about overdoses. Skip to that for a second. So overdose occurrences, there actually haven't been any reported to the police in West Elgin in 2025, according to our statistics. So I know that there's some suggestions that it's been happening, but once again, if it's not making its way to us, then we don't know about it and we can't investigate it. It's something that we take very seriously, which is why we report on it bi-monthly now with the detachment board. But it was a little bit shocking for me to open up the statistics and notice that there weren't any reported here, when I know that it's a concern of each of you and of the members of your community. So once again, I would implore them to call us and let us know that those things are happening. So as I was saying, in clearance rates, so we've actually had a 233% increase in our clearance rate for drug investigations over last year. And last year we were down 47 from the year before. So for me, I see significant improvements coming through in those areas. And once again, those investigations are lengthy, but you have our full service to try to take down some of the big drug crimes that are happening out here, and then kind of work on the lower level stuff after that. So violent crime clearance rates are up 20%. Property crime clearance rates are up 28%. So we're seeing a lot of good work, a lot of good investigations that are coming to a close. We may just not, because I haven't been here to report on it, it might be just something where we're not getting the information all the way back as well, right? So please reach out to me in the future. I'd love to come to more meetings and present information to you. The one thing that is a little bit concerning for me, public complaints are up with the implementation of the CSPA, the Community Safety Policing Act. They've dissolved OPRO and created a organization called LECA. Provincially, we've seen a significant increase in public complaints that have been coming in. There's been 11 actually in West Elgin this year on officers. So for people aren't happy with the way they were treated or something that was done. It doesn't mean that they were substantiated, but they were certainly reported to LECA since its inception. Don't be too alarmed by that. We have, I want to say provincially, like a 0.8% substantiation rate on public complaints. But it's still something to be concerned about. We don't want our officers to be, you know, when they get it subjected to those complaints, it actually has a significant impact on them because I'll be honest, the majority of police officers do this job for the right reasons. And when somebody's questioning their integrity or the way they interacted, it has a little bit of pressure on them. So we're trying to minimize those and trying to just change a little bit of the public perception. And some of that will be done through meetings like this and just getting out into the community. I can tell you that's one of my big agenda items. They have to listen to it as well at a lot of the detachment board meetings, but I'm a bit old school in the sense of get out of your car and get into your community. So that's been something that I've been pushing since I've returned and really pushing this past few weeks. It's great that the cold weather is here for some people, but doesn't mean that we can't get out of our cars and get into the arenas and into the schools and chat with people and re-engage with our youth. We kind of lost touch over the last few years just with the political stance behind police officers in schools, but we're seeing that kind of reverse and turn. And my big thing is to get out, and I'll get out myself and do the same thing. So you'll see me in social media as much as I don't like it. Excuse me. Mental health occurrences. It's another big one. I'm not sure if anybody here is aware, but we have a very robust MCERT program. We just instituted a second member, so we have more coverage. So they're CMHA workers that ride along with the police, and it really has a significant impact in the amount of time that we take to deal with somebody that's in a crisis and how much time we spend at the hospital. So I can tell you that in West Elgin, you've had 61 mental health act occurrences this year versus 47 last year. It doesn't seem like a significant number or significant increase, but each of those calls can take, if we don't have the right resources, can take 8 to 14 hours to complete. So they are quite significant. We're finding that with MCERT, we're able to get people the help that they need in like under a few hours, a couple hours. So it's a really good program. We're very proud of it. It is funded through some provincial grants, but we'll keep working away at that and trying to make sure that we maintain those over the years to come. Another big push for organizationally and for me, having worked in Elgin County in every capacity, I'm very fortunate that way. I had great relationships with victim services. 35% increase in victim services being offered here in West Elgin this calendar year, which is wonderful. If I compare it to the county as a whole, it's pretty much on par, but we've had 241 referrals versus 141 last year, which is very significant, and it gets people the resources that they need when they're in their biggest time of need. So that is kind of the high level overview. I am open to any questions that you may have. Like I said, if I don't have the answer, I will certainly endeavor to get those answers to you. I do have an email with a couple of questions, I think, or some points. I think I hit on some of them, but so more enforcement for drug-related offenses. Certainly I can make that happen. Community outreach in schools, I think I addressed that in my my presentation, just letting you know that's a big important thing for me. Support for local theft and trespassing. We talked about that at the beginning. We need people to report it. That's going to help us the most. Education on domestic violence or intimate partner violence. Certainly that's a big agenda item for me as well. And if you have any community groups that want a presentation, by all means reach out to the detachment and we can set up a member to come out and do those presentations. We have a member that's trained in that. And then the last one, talking to Ryan prior to the meeting, reinstating the community policing committee. So I'm very happy to hear that. Like, as I said, I was a member as a constable. It's a community driven initiative, not an OPP driven initiative. So I know it's on your agenda item tonight to discuss. I'm fully supportive of that. We lost most of our committees during COVID and we've only regained 2. So this would be the 3rd, which would be, I would be very excited to see that to its fruition. We'll assign somebody to kind of help and do whatever needs to be done from our side to make that happen. So that's my full report.
Do you think if the community policing starts up again, which we certainly hope it will, because I can remember you when I was on community policing, that's a few years ago, and anyway, the long and short of it is there any chance that we can get a policeman to come along occasionally and make a report or take what people give us information and we need to pass it out. And it's nice to be able to have somebody, not like yourself, but a constable or whoever, that we can pass this on to.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Absolutely. If the community gets the committee together, then we will be a full-time partner and we will make sure that somebody's there to make those presentations. Not unlike the past, obviously operations take precedence, and if a big incident's happened and an incident takes place, then we can't make it, then we would notify. But absolutely, it's important to me. As I said, I cut my teeth in the committee here, many years ago, and it's very important. Being involved in the community is something that we've lost. So
it's certainly important to council too. Deputy Mayor Tellier.
Thank you, Mayor, and through the chair. Thank you for coming today. Yeah, I put forward a motion for the policing committee. We had it in the past, and Mayor Leatham and the community members that were on it and the constable did such great work. I think we did some in-services and different things as well, and had like the real information out there and how to prevent fraud and different things. I had two questions, if that's okay. Elder abuse, do you have stats or even keep stats on anything like that? Or is that considered a fraud, or where would that look or lie?
thank you. I could look into it. I didn't bring any with me. They've changed the definition of it now. I apologize, the name escapes me. But it's not something that's being tracked as aggressively as it was years ago. But certainly I could look into it and provide that information.
I appreciate that. And then my second question is about the overdoses. So situationally, if someone arrives, it's a mental health concern, because usually that's one in hand, let's be honest. So that would be under, since you said there's 0 in the area, would that be under the mental health occurrences and the MSET when they arrive? Is that where those stats would lie then usually?
So typically, for it to be classified as an overdose, we would have to confirm that drugs were involved in the incident, and that's why they were passed out, unconscious, those types of things. You'd have to kind of maybe give me a little bit more information, because the consumption of drugs leading into a mental health crisis wouldn't be classified as an overdose, but it would be classified as two things: Mental Health Act and then drug, right? So typically an overdose means that they've actually taken drugs to the point of being unconscious, and we've had to intervene, or the paramedics have had to intervene to provide life-saving first aid.
Okay, I appreciate your time and thank you for coming. I look forward to working with you or your other constables in the future.
Councillor Sathan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and through you, thank you very much for being here, Commander. I appreciate it, and I know the community as a whole appreciates what the OPP does to keep our community safe. I just had a couple questions, and actually I had a list of questions, but you checked most of them off in your presentation, so I appreciate that. One of the ones that I had was with respect to the referrals to victim services, and I think, like you mentioned in your presentation, that's up by a significant percentage. That's great. One area that I noticed in the agenda items that we received is for intimate partner violence. There were, during the period between September and October, there were 63 cases where victim services were offered, but only 27 where they were accepted. And I just wondered for the community as a whole, if you wouldn't mind walking me through how that referral to victim services is offered to victims of intimate partner violence, and maybe that's something that we can look at referring. And I do have another question after that. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. So victim services is not something that is mandatory. So as the police, we show up, we conduct an investigation. Typically, there's a victim and an accused person. The victim is offered victim services. Say it's intimate partner violence. They may attend the location where the victim is. They may attend the detachment and speak with the victim, but the victim's not obligated to take that. So I kind of skimmed over it. I apologize, but out of the 241 offered in West Elgin, 85 were accepted. I don't know how we encourage people to accept, because it is a great program. I know for myself, when I was on the road and still today, I kind of explain that they offer a lot of services. They can fix doors, they can offer cell phones, they can give you locks and special devices to keep you safe. But we still are kind of in this world where a lot of people are apprehensive to ask for help or to accept help. So that certainly is something that, we can work toward achieving a better percentage, but we're sort of at the mercy of the victim in the sense of if they don't want it, we can't force it.
Thank you very much. And I completely understand. I noticed in that one particular category, it seemed to be lower and, I think you speaking here in front of everybody at home as well, maybe that would encourage people to reach out. So I appreciate that. Second question I had, was regarding the emergency detour route from the 401. And I know this is a hot, topic, here locally because when the 401 shuts down, we have traffic that is continually driving through our main streets, which is not part of the EDR. And I understand very much that the OPP, when the 401 is shut down, you guys have other stuff that you need to deal with, right? And you're busy. If you could maybe comment on any ways that the community as a whole can respond to those issues and prevent trucks from driving through our main streets when that is not part of the EDR. And if the OPP can maybe assist the community with keeping trucks off of our smaller rural streets, because let's face it, those intersections are not designed for truck traffic. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. So as a community, I don't think there's much that the community can do. Certainly this is an issue for us to address. But as you sort of stated, when the highway shut down, our priorities are shifted to that location. We do our very best to send some officers if we have some extras to go out and monitor the EDR. But that's not always possible, especially during a significant snowstorm. There's a massive car pileup on the highway. The thing I can offer once again is I'm trying to get our social media account boosting some of this great information out to the community. I don't think EDRs are or issues with EDRs are specific to West Elgin. I think it happens across the province, unfortunately, and it's because everybody's in a hurry and they're looking for the quickest route. They're following their GPS, right? So certainly, I know in the past we had a fairly good program where when the highway would shut down, our comm center would make a notification to the roads department or the mayor. I think it was the mayor's at one point to let them know that it was happening. If we found success in that, then maybe we reinvigorate that program. But it's an issue for us, and it's definitely on my list. But I'm kind of at the mercy of what's taking place at the time. Like as I said, I can certainly try to do kind of a public safety campaign, which your social media people, I'm sure you have, can then kind of repeat and repost, I guess, to get the message out there. But I don't think it's your community that's causing the issues, and that's the problem. It's people passing through and vehicles that, as you said, they're not designed to be on those roads. Not only just the size of the intersection, but the grade of the road and everything else. So I'm fully aware of the issues there. I'm open to ideas for solutions as well. I don't have all the answers, unfortunately.
I appreciate that very much. And again, I didn't expect you to have a solution. The concern is that when we have truck traffic that's driving down Queens Line, for instance, and they get to an intersection and they go around that tight turn, they're damaging the roadways, and that's left for taxpayers to support. So I don't know what the solution is, but I thought I would get your opinion on it. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. My only other answer to that would be, obviously there's times of years when we can do more enforcement. With the half load season and those types of things, but any other time of year, it is a bit of a challenge. We try to get officers to areas to direct traffic, but once we catch them on the road, even then there's not a lot of enforcement that can be done, right? So another good news thing, just on top of that, they're not always available, but we do have 2 fully trained CMV commercial vehicle inspectors in the detachment. So that was in my previous role in West Region Traffic. Obviously, Elgin County was home for me, so I kind of helped out get some people trained here. Influx of all the truck traffic with the new factories and the building of the area. So we're lucky to have them. In those instances, we can delay and cause some inspections to be taking place because people aren't following the rules. But once again, I can offer that as sort of a partial solution. But they are definitely available moving into the new year to come out and do some of those inspections as well. So
thank you.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Tellier.
Thank you. If I may make a statement, if that's okay.
Yeah.
It's not a question, but I just thought transparency. We had a threat against council early this year, and I'm a female, and Can I say the victim services office was amazing, and I'm making a statement, being a bit vulnerable, to let other people know that may watch this later, that they are wonderful to work with. And they offered me Blink cameras for free. Counseling up to $1,500, door jams, window jams, checked in with me all the time. They were great, absolutely great. I think maybe the area where maybe we have, I do have means to get to St. Thomas to chat with them, fill out the forms and such, but maybe the numbers are down in this, or this area, people not taking advantage of that or using that is maybe the transportation issue. But you said someone could come out to people, so maybe to make sure that, like, I wouldn't have realized that, but once again, I have the means to get there. But they were absolutely amazing service and wonderful. So if anybody's watching this later, feel free, if you ever need the service, to go and use them, because it was wonderful. So just wanted to put that out there. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for that. I've just got one more question, and I'm going back to the community policing again. And obviously we stopped because of COVID. And anyway, we're hoping to start it up again. But I'd like your opinion about getting the schools involved. Like for them to get a small committee and make it their own little community policing, and then attend ours, and sit in with us, and then go back and they can say what they've seen, what they've heard, and, that it might help. And, I was thinking probably getting 2 schools involved, maybe only 2 people come to the meeting from that school, but they've got their own little circle. And I just wondered if that might help.
Thank you, Mayor. Any involvement with the youth, in my opinion, is a win for all of us. So certainly, as I said about the community policing committees, I leave it in the hands of the community and the members that are going to create the committee to come up with great ideas like that, to make sure that everybody's represented and everybody has a seat at the table and gets to meet with us and provide their concerns and comments, and we can encourage more reporting and build those relationships. So certainly if somebody that's spearheading the creation of the committee wants to reach out to the schools and see if that's something that they're interested in, I think that's a wonderful idea. I don't see any issue with it.
Yes, thank you. We're not asking them to snitch. What they will talk, within themselves, and it's bound to be a help, I think, in the long run.
I'm asking them to snitch.
Okay. Yeah, any further questions? Councillor Denning.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through the chair. And thank you, Commander, for being here with us this afternoon. Just 2 things. First of all, heard from a lot of community members about wanting to get crime checks, vulnerable sector crime checks, so they can volunteer. And it seems to be an increasingly slow process. Do you have anything to report on whether or not any measures have taken place to help expedite that? And the second question was, for those in the community who are perhaps seeing, witnessing things that are happening, whether it's drug related or thefts, but they're maybe concerned about calling 911. Is there a better way? Is there a non-emergency line?
Thank you for your question. I'll answer the last question first because it's the easy one. 1-888-310-1122 is the non-emergency number, or from your cell phone, star OPP, star 677. It's quick and easy. Also, Crime Stoppers, if they are not interested in being identified as a witness. In relation to your first question, that is something we're hearing across the province, unfortunately. Our organization has heard the concerns. We recently hired, and I don't know the number, but we've onboarded a significant number of people to try to increase the output and decrease the time that people are waiting, because we understand it impacts jobs, volunteer opportunities, those types of things. So as a result of COVID, we kind of every organization provincially sort of turned criminal record checks to an online platform. It seems to have overwhelmed the system significantly. I remember being in Elgin, and it was like a revolving door of people coming in to get those checks. But I kind of missed that aspect, honestly, if I'm being truthful, because it brought people into the building and you can interact and kind of have those conversations. But this is the platform we're working with, unfortunately, and or fortunately. I think it definitely has some benefits. We just need to increase the speed. So I feel like they're starting to increase a little bit, but a little bit more patience. And like I said, I know they onboarded some more members, and they're looking possibly to onboard some more. So they have a very hard hard target for when they want to get the backlog out. So I don't know the exact date, but I know it's coming. So
Okay, further questions from anyone? Seeing none, thank you very much.
thank you for your time. And as I said, please invite me back anytime. We can do some presentations and answer more questions. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. We'll move right on. Okay. Okay, so we go to 5, adoption of the minutes.
That West Elgin Council hereby adopt the minutes of November 13th, 2025 as presented.
Mover, please. Councillor Statham, seconded. Councillor Sousa, all in favour. That's carried. Thank you. And we go to staff report 7.1, planning. A severance application E56-25- comments to Elgin County. Robert? Mr. Robert Brown, planner? Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good afternoon to council, members of the audience. The application before you today is a fairly straightforward one. The applicant came to us wanting to reestablish a lot that had merged with some surrounding holdings as a result of a death of one of the other owners. This is something that does happen from time to time. Catches people a little off guard, obviously. The county severance policies still allow for these reestablishments, and the Planning Act itself has actually tried to simplify this somewhat, recognizing that it does happen. In this particular instance, the lot, although it's not part of the application itself, the property is made up of a larger holding, and then there was 6 lots effectively created off of it with a potential allowance for a future road. 2 of those lots front on Queen's Line, one of which we're reestablishing, and then 4 others were created quite some time ago that don't have frontage. And actually, once the lot itself that merged is recreated, the owners are undertaking some consolidation, and we'll actually be getting rid of those 4 lots and rolling them back in with adjoining holdings. So as a result of this initial application, they'll actually be undoing something that probably shouldn't have been done when it was done originally, but we can't lament too much over past actions. The existing lands right now are about 3.4 acres, located at 24933 Queen's Line. The severed parcel itself, just over 1,300 square feet, that will be reestablished from the main holding, and then that will be consolidated with a lot to the rear once this goes forward to Land Division Committee for approval and consideration. There's no provincial policy or provincial planning statement concerns with this, because no additional lots are being created. In fact, once the consolidations are done, they'll go from being 7 separate lots to 3, and putting the lots in the area back a bit more consistent with the larger size that's needed for partial services in the area. The county does allow for technical severances such as this to allow for non-farm lots that merged unintentionally. As I mentioned, is a case of death of one of the joint owners to be reestablished. The West Elgin official plan, although the policy doesn't directly speak to this, it does talk about lot creation or lot adjustments that don't result in new lot creation. As I mentioned, this is not reestablished, just a reestablishing an existing lot, and will actually eventually lead to fewer lots on this property. The zoning on the lands, the lot that's being severed is rural residential. Once it's reestablished and merged with the neighboring holding behind it, There should be no zoning issues there. The only deficiency that'll be created is the remnant parcel, the larger parcel that's in A3. It currently has less, or would, once the lot's severed off, have less than the required frontage, and we've included in the conditions that a minor variance be applied for to address that single deficiency. Staff was circulated internally. Drainage apportionment shouldn't be required. The lot configuration is not changing on this, so there shouldn't be any issue that way. There's no infrastructure utility issues as a result of this. And then, as with any lot creation, even if it is reestablishment within the municipality, a septic system inspection and assessments required, and that has been completed and was submitted with the county application. So unless there are questions from council or members of the public, that is all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. Questions from council? Seeing none, could I have the recommendation, please?
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the report from Robert Brown, planner, regarding consent application file E5625, comments to the County of Elgin, planning report 2025-26, and that West Elgin Council hereby recommends approval to the Land Division Committee of the County of Elgin for severance application E56-25, subject to the lower tier municipal conditions in Appendix 1 of this report. And further, that West Elgin Council directs administration to provide this report as municipal comments to the County of Elgin.
Move it, please. Councillor Statham, seconded. Councillor Sousa, all in favour? That's carried. Thank you. So we go on to 7.2, which is building. Monthly building report, October 2025. We've all had a list to have a look through. Any questions? Seeing none, could I have the recommendation, please?
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the report from Corey Pemberton, Chief Building Official, regarding the Building Department Summary Report for the month of October 2025.
Move it, please. Councillor Sousa, seconded. Councillor Statham, all in favour? That's carried. Thank you. Okay, 7.3, infrastructure and development. So it's safe snow operations. David?
Thank you. I put this report through for safe snow operations. We're going to be putting a campaign out to let everybody know how and when to remove your cars from the road for safe parking. So when we're out there plowing the roads, everybody knows that it's safer that we have your cars in the driveway and off the roads during the events. There's a information package going out for education as well. Some of the education that we're really looking for to know is that enforcement will be happening in that, and increased fines. That's right. And and safety considerations that will be considered as the narrow roadways and limiting access for emergency responders. So we want to get all that information out to the public so that they can be aware of the situations that are going to be occurring in the next little bit. So if anybody has any questions.
If there's people on the road and you know, it's snow clearing, and when there's nobody, who's going to enforce that?
For the snow clearing during the events, it's going to be a challenge to do it during the actual when snow is there, but we're going to try to get some enforcement out to let everybody know prior to the events in the next couple months. But during the events itself, we're going to have to be really careful around it. So we're getting this information out now so we can get going. And if we have to tow cars, we're going to look into that, but we don't really want to, so we want to get the information out. So.
Okay, thank you. Further questions? Councillor Sousa.
There you go, Mr. Mayor. Dave, hi. Just just for the public record, what are the hours that you can't park out on the road?
During a snow event, we'll put a notice out for when you need to remove your cars from the road. But generally, they're marked on the streets where you're allowed to not park at, and if there's hours changes on there, it'll be marked on the streets as well. So it's per location. So
Okay, thank you.
Further questions? Yes, councillor Denning.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Dave, thank you. And just to follow up on what Councillor Sousa said, in the event that a street does not have any signage that indicates no parking, is it then to suggest that parking overnight is allowed there other than during a snow event, just for clarity?
Through you, Mayor, yes, if there is no signage out there, there is parking, but we'll put a notice out that no parking is allowed during those times. So
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Further questions? Okay, can I have the recommendation, please?
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the report from Dave Sharon, Manager of Infrastructure and Development, for information purposes.
Move it, please. Deputy Mayor Delia, seconded. Councillor Sousa, all in favour? That's carried, thank you. Okay, we go to 7.3.2. Replacement equipment request. David, it's over to you again, please.
thank you. We at the municipality, we have the need to replace our dozer that we use out at our landfill. Currently we have a 2005 John Deere model that is near end of life and requires extensive repairs to be able to bring it back up to code. In my report, I have it listed at operating hours of 6,093. It's actually at 8,027. Sorry for the typo in the report. So our current dozer has mechanical issues with the engine, the undercarriage, and hydraulic system that can range between a cost of $45,000 to $100,000, depending on when they open up the machine to do the repairs and how extensive they are when they start putting new parts in. It's like when you bring your car to the shop, sometimes you get a small bill, sometimes you get a large bill. So we're looking at the current value of the dozer as is between $10,000 and $35,000 to be able to get back from it if we do trade it in or send it on auction. And it's a big operational need for the municipality. We run our landfill 3 days a week, and during the capping exercise, when we're done with the landfill, it's going to be an integral part of our design and our work with our internal staff to do it. So that's what we're looking at getting. That's why we need the new piece of equipment. We currently have searched around to find different options. The options that we have are we could get a new dozer. We've looked at the pricing for that is around $340,000. We have prices between $182,000 and $220,000 for a used dozer. That just depends on which model we can get and is available. Those have our hours around 6,100 currently. As we move forward, we require about with our landfill operations, we foresee having that availability between 5 and 10 years, depending on the amount of garbage that we get in our system, and that's the life cycle we would require for this kind of equipment. So that's what we're looking at for our purchase. Any questions?
Okay. Obviously, you're trying to save money by buying a second-hand one, but who's going to look at it to make sure we don't buy a pig in a poke?
That's a great question. We have a lot of good staff that have been operating machinery, and that have looked at the equipment that we're going to be getting, and we do have good relationships with the local suppliers. So that's there's always a risk when you buy used, but at the same time, there's risk and benefit too as well. So
Yeah, I know nothing about engines, so that's why I asked the question.
fair.
Okay. Yes, Councillor Statham.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through you and Dave, thank you for talking to me about this today. I know we spoke about this earlier. I think one of the concerns that I had is that we were looking at purchasing a used piece of equipment that had, you know, like roughly 6,100 hours on it. For a large percentage of the cost of a new piece of equipment that would be new. And Dave explained to me that the life cycle that we need that piece of equipment for was specifically related to the retirement of the landfill site. So I appreciate you explaining that to me, and I think that's valuable for the general public. I think one of the concerns that I had was just the hours that are on that machine that we're looking at purchasing. So 6,100 hours, and I understand on a bulldozer. I mean, you and I both know that that's not a lot. However, it is 7 years old, and to echo what Mr. Mayor mentioned, is it possible to investigate a warranty option through the dealer on that particular piece of equipment, so that you know we're at least assured that in the first couple of years that piece of equipment is not gonna fail on us and cost us another $100,000 down the road.
Through your Mayor, yes, we can definitely talk to the suppliers that we're in conversations with to see what warranty can be available for this equipment. It is going to come at an additional cost though, generally with the warranty. But if there's value in it, we can definitely consider that availability.
Can I,
Okay,
thank
you. Yes.
A follow up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. I also wondered, is it possible to see a life cycle cost comparison between a new piece of equipment? You know, for instance, a new dozer that's $340,000. Given that when we sell that piece of equipment at the end of its life cycle, you know, there'll be a significantly higher value versus a used piece of equipment. I'd just like to be able to compare the life cycle cost between a used piece of equipment and a new piece of equipment, given that used piece of equipment may break down and require $45,000 worth of repairs next year versus a new one that may not.
Fair. I can definitely go back and provide that information for you. We are in a position where we've been without a dozer now for 3 to 4 weeks, and we haven't been able to do that information, but I can definitely dig that up if that's a requirement for the approval.
Okay, thank you. Carry on.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, I apologize for all these questions. The other component of it is the estimated repair cost. We have $45,000 to $100,000. Obviously, that's a huge range. I think, Dave, I appreciate you explaining that they're not really going to know what they get into until they open it up. That repair cost, if you spread that repair cost over the, I think you mentioned 5 years. Is that the rough life cycle that we're looking at? If we spread that repair cost over 5 years, would it not make more sense? And I would reference a report from Northumberland County that essentially did the same thing with their 2008 D6 bulldozer recently, and council there decided that the estimated cost of $140,000 to repair that unit was more beneficial based on the fact that you could spread that over a period of time. And I can share that report with you. What is the detrimental side of repairing that unit? If we're only keeping it for another 5 years and we spend $100,000 repairing it, and that's the maximum cost, according to the estimates in the report here, we spent $100,000 repairing that unit, refurbishing it, and engine, undercarriage, and hydraulic systems. Why would we not go that route versus spending $200,000 that we don't have in capital if we're only keeping the unit for 5 years?
Along with the unit being at 5 years, there will be a trade-in value at the end. There is that calculation that can be done to determine the useful life of our remaining dozer. It is a 2005 dozer. And we will be the new dozer or the dozer that we're looking to purchase will be, it's only 7 years old rather than 20 years old. That's part of the calculation as well. So that if we do repair the $100,000, there is still possibilities in the next 5 years of doing the work out at the landfill that we could have to replace to do more work. And I just don't want to be in that position to come back to council to request additional funding to do a repair on the dozer that we repaired in 2025. When the outlook on the landfill is still not 100% clear how we're going to handle everything. But as we have if we do have the used dozer, we can have ability to replace or to sell off that used equipment again at its end of life if we require it. So there's that factor as well into that, where the amount of money that we would get for the dozer that we have now would be very, very little at the end. So
Yeah, I can realize that although you do the repairs on the one we've got, all the other parts on it are also wearing down too. So it may be ongoing. It's a thought. The repairs may be ongoing. Okay, yes.
May I apologize again? I'm so sorry, and I'm not trying to hijack the conversation here. I would suggest the dozer that Dutton Dunwich currently has is 1989. So these pieces of equipment are designed to tolerate a certain amount of abuse. For $100,000, if we have to do an engine refurbishment, maybe that's $20,000. Undercarriage replacement, I mean, maybe another 25 to 30 or 40. Hydraulic systems, I mean, maybe another 10 or 15. I could see it getting up to $100,000. It's possible, but once you've spent $100,000 on that unit, my opinion, again, I don't presume to know what your job is, Dave. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm getting at is we would have a piece of equipment that is in good repair if we spent $100,000 on it, is how I feel about it. And if we're looking at spending $100,000 and repairing it versus $200,000 out of a capital budget where we don't actually have the capital budget for it, I just have a little bit of a concern there. The other thing I would point out is that if we do spend that $100,000, keep in mind that we're only using it for 5 years. We're not planning on keeping this forever. I mean, if we were keeping it forever, I would say it makes more sense to buy a new piece of equipment as opposed to a used one. But that's sort of how I sit on it. Again, it's not my job, and I think Dave knows better than I do. So if that's your recommendation, I 100% support it. But it's just the way I feel about it is $200,000 is a lot of money to spend on a used piece of equipment. So thank you.
Further questions? Councillor Sousa, please.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the current dozers that we have, how much can we get for it? Like, is there an estimate if we trade it in at its current state today?
And as indicated in the report, it's between 10 and 35,000.
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Tellier.
Thank you through the chair. Councillor Statham, thanks for all the questions, and never apologize for the questions because leads to other ones and gets us learning about different things. So that's awesome. So my question would be to Dave. So the repair, I know it's Pandora's box when you open it up, you have no clue, but estimated, how long would be further without a dozer if it's being repaired?
Through you, Mary, it's approximately probably 2 to 3 weeks for the repair itself. But that's not.
That's how long it's going to take you to be under there to fix it? No.
So it's because we've been holding off on the repair because of this situation where we want to make the right decision. We don't want to start cracking into a problem before we can make the decision on where we're going to go with moving forward.
All right, I thank you for that. And then one further question, if I may. Another question is so at the bottom of your report, you have the reallocation from the capital equipment reserve. If we did went new, that's where the shortfall would come from. May I be reminded what we have in that reserve? No, I'm just, yeah, it doesn't mean to be now. It just is a question, as I said, it came up now, or else I would have asked staff ahead of time. Thank you.
Further, Councillor Denning, please.
One final thought, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, and Dave, thank you. Makes sense to me, but your or Councillor Statham's point about Dutton Dunwich having a 1989 bulldozer, I certainly will continue to echo my opinion on all of these sorts of asset discussions. We should be reaching out to our neighbor and letting them know that we would consider a discussion about sharing assets such as these. So when our landfill's done, maybe when Dutton Dunwich is done, both municipalities are still going to need the use of a bulldozer from time to time for infrastructure projects. I would hate to see our neighbors having to be in a position 5 years from now to have to buy a new one. And then us 5 years from now having to buy a new one, and both of us having a brand new asset when we could certainly share. So again, as we start to talk about replacement of infrastructure and assets, I just hope that we will continue to consider reaching out to our neighbors to try to find efficiencies and synergies, such as this is a perfect example of one that it's a discussion now so that they have it in their mind for 3 years, 5 years from now when they need something new, such as a bulldozer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Yes. Councillor Statham, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and that's a great point, Bill. And Dave, I know in your report you mentioned that bulldozer that we have is utilized elsewhere other than the landfill. Is that a piece of equipment that we're using regularly outside of the landfill, or is that because I noticed in the report it said that it was it's used daily at the landfill. Now the landfill's not open every day, right? So you also have it mentioned that it's used for drainage work, seasonal projects, et cetera, et cetera. So again, I'd be much more open to purchasing a piece of equipment if it's used other than just in a landfill that we're going to be closing in 5 years. So maybe you could just comment on that, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, through your mayor, the daily remarks was, even though our landfill is open 3 days a week, there's still activities that happen where we have to move garbage around with the dozer to that effect. So there is that opportunity to send our staff out there and complete works during times where it's closed. As for works when we have other construction jobs, if we're replacing we have a very versatile crew where we can replace culverts across roads and that require the dozer at certain locations. So when we do have a big job scheduled, which we generally do 1 or 2 a year, sometimes 3 if we have the availability, we'll float our dozer out and use it on those jobs. So that's the occasion we have it for that. And it's good to have it for emergencies too, in case we need to move some dirt. So.
Okay, thank you. Further questions? Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councillor Tellier, just going back to the reserve schedule that was provided to us in our 2025 budget. We have noted in roads, though I would need to identify what reserve we would be looking for. We have identified like 1,353,000 approximately within that reserve. However, I would have to go back into the schedule to see how much of that has already been identified for future plans or purchases. Be it that this is not something I think that was on the plan or in the near plan of being purchased, though I would let council know that within their rate stabilization reserve, typically that's a reserve we do to try and offset or ease any sort of tax burdens that we sort of anticipate from year to year. We have well over 2 million within that reserve, which is a direction council could also use from in order to make this one-time purchase.
Okay, further questions? So then we'll go to the recommendation, if you don't mind.
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the report from Dave Sharon, Manager of Infrastructure and Development, and that West Elgin Council approves the budget up to $200,000 for the purchase of a used bulldozer.
Okay, a mover. Councillor Denning. Seconder. Councillor Statham. All in favour? That's carried. Thank you. Okay, so we go to 7.4, community services and clerks. Seniors Community Grant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This report is presented to council to obtain approval to go forth and submit a grant application within, it's the Seniors Community Grant through the Ministry of Seniors and Accessibility. So what this grant provides through the 2026 to 2027 stream is a grant of up to $25,000. So the idea for this grant is to use towards our recreation center in Rodney for the purchase of some new equipment, improvements to our pickleball nets and balls, rackets, shuffleboard equipment, some new basketballs, free weights, and yoga equipment. The great thing with this grant is also that it does, we can use it to pay for a fitness instructor to come in and teach these programs. And often that's not included in grant. However, this is not a municipal employee. This is specifically just to hire as an instructor for this grant. So you'll see detailed in the financial implications, this grant does cover 100% of what we are asking for. So our recreation coordinator did do some quotes for us there. You can see for all the different equipment, as well as the cost of a fitness instructor, a yoga instructor, for a total cost of approximately $9,600. So when she does move forward with submitting the grant, she will obtain actual quotes from the different companies to include with that grant submission. So I have in my recommendation, I've put it as up to 25,000. I can't imagine there would be that much of a difference, but at least it gives us a little bit if it's a little bit higher than the $9,600 that we are requesting. So certainly if anybody has, any members of council have any questions or concerns, I'd be more than happy to answer.
No questions.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, please.
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the report from Terry Toshchuk, Manager of Community Services, Clerk, and that council hereby approves the grant submission for the Seniors Community Grant 2026 to 27 stream funded by the Ministry of Seniors and Accessibility up to $25,000.
Move, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconded. Councillor Sousa, all in favour? That's carried. And we go to 7.5. And we go to the Chief Administration Officer, Group Benefits Report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council. This report is before you on our group benefits consulting. Earlier in 2025, the County of Elgin issued a RFP, and they did so in partnership with all the local tier municipalities. And this was to seek interest of consulting firms. So this is not our group's benefit, just the consultant that would assist us with our benefit packages. From that RFP, the county selected the People Corporation as the preferred benefit consultant. This is a departure from our current benefit consultant, who is Mosey and Mosey. Since that time, once that was released, lower tier municipalities did hear from Mosey and Mosey trying to pitch their case as to why to remain as our benefit consultant, providing us with indication that they could reduce our premiums. However, I had two concerns. One, we did go to RFP. We did agree to go to RFP to look for a consultant. Through that RFP and its selection process, the county did select a different vendor. So I do feel that we are going against a process that we put into place when we initiated our willingness to go there. And then to step out. And then I also have concerns of the unfairness around Mosey coming and saying, here's what I can provide you for your next benefits, when People Corporation doesn't have the opportunity in order to fairly compete, because right now they don't have our information. And so I could not be able to give you a cost comparison of what our benefits might look like under Mosey and Mosey as compared to People Corp, because People Corp doesn't have the information of which to provide that information. But solely based on, we went to an RFP, we committed to that process, and a decision was made Be it that the county provides us a lot of skills, and benefits is a skill as far as they took the control of the RFP process, using their skills in order to analyze the requirements and the needs for a consultant. I am making a recommendation that county follows the county, or sorry, this council follows the county in its recommendation to move towards People Corporation as our consultant. I will let this group know, as I know that you speak with many of the other local tier elected officials. Some of our local municipalities are choosing to stay with Mosey and Mosey. However, municipality of Southwold has also made the decision to stay with the county in this case. I would not advise us to go independently for our benefits provider. We're not a large enough organization, and so we do need to be grouped with other organizations. The county, and for the plus and minus, because then we take the aggregated usage of all the corporations. The county, when we were a consortium of all the local tiers, and the county had well over 50% of the persons of the numbers of which we were applying for. So they still provide us with a significant size of which we can see some cost benefit. There are risks because they will probably have greater usage of long-term disability because of having long-term care. However, my concern is that we would say the same thing with Elmer, as they have a police force. So again, council, my recommendation is to move towards People Corporation as was determined in their RFP, which ended in May of this year. The council, if you have any further questions, happy to answer.
Further questions, anyone? Seeing none.
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the group benefits report from Robin Greenall, CAO, and that West Elgin Council authorize staff to maintain alignment with the County of Elgin on group benefit consulting services and to transition to People Corporation in accordance with the county's RFP.
Mover, please. Councillor Sousa, seconded. Councillor Denning, all in favour? That's carried. And now I come where I've got a conflict of interest, and I'm going to stand out. And if Deputy Mayor Tellier would carry on the meeting, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
So we're on to 7.5.2, resolution to stop, up, close, and sell/transfer the unopened portion of O'Malley Road. Do you have a report in front of you? And CAO Greenall, if you want to go ahead with it, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor Tellier. Thought I turned it off. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Tellier. Council, before you is a report on the resolution to stop, up, close, sell, transfer part of O'Malley Road. This conversation has been before council since 2023. Within the report, I did provide you with the history, a bit of the history of this report. Be it that in January 12, 2023, council directed administration to begin the formal road closure process for the unopened portion of O'Malley Road. And as per bylaw 2019-14, which is our sale and disposition municipal lands, the municipality did give notice for the land of sale, which was completed in March of 2023. We did give notice of public meeting, which also occurred March of 2023. We obtained an appraisal for the land, which council reviewed at its closed session in March of 2023. And we did hold a public meeting for the sale of land, again, occurred within March of 2023. And council at the time also gave direction to begin negotiating with the abutting, that meaning the land of which we owned, landowner. However, those negotiations were halted in 2023 for various reasons. Though council at its May 2022 closed session did review the terms of sale, the proceedings and negotiations resumed, and you had an agreement to the terms of sale. In order for us to do finalization to the agreement of this roadway, we do need to pass a bylaw, which is this recommended bylaw, which is the resolution for the stop up, close, sale and transfer of O'Malley Road. And that resolution then gives us the formal direction to complete that that agreement and negotiation, and for the deputy mayor and administration to finalize and fully execute the agreement. So this is a housekeeping issue, but an important one.
It's very important. Thank you
Yes.
for your report here. Anybody have any questions about the CIO's report or anything in regards to the subject? Looking around the room, not seeing any. And go ahead with the resolution, please, clerk.
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the report regarding the resolution to stop up, close, and sell/transfer the unopened portion of O'Malley Road from Robin Greenall, CAO, and that council hereby stop up and permanently close and sell the O'Malley Road allowance from Gibb Line east to the easterly limit of property at 23855 Gibb Line, legally described as RDAL BTN LT 16 and 17, concession 2, Aldborough, pin 35108022, to the owner of property for roll number 3434-000-01104400000, and that council approves bylaw 2025-63 as presented at the November 27th, 2025 meeting.
Thank you for that, clerk. I need a mover and a seconder, please. So moved by Councillor Denning, seconder. I'll call again for a seconder. Councillor Statham, all in favor? That is so moved. Can someone invite the mayor back in, please?
We go to 8, committee and board reports or updates. Notice of motion.
Committee and board.
Okay. Carry on.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick update on the Arena Board committee, Bo Horvat Arena. A communication recently went out through municipality of West Elgin, an update with regards to arena renovations and as it pertains to the Kraft Hockeyville money. So for anybody who has been wondering what was going on, there's a really good communication on the West Elgin social media. Essentially, we will be continuing to work with what we have. We were hopeful that we were going to get a recreation grant to supplement the Kraft Hockeyville money and the municipal donated money. Unfortunately, we did not. So in order to stretch the dollars the best we can, we are recalibrating our plans to try to work within the square footage that exists now so that we can minimize costs but maximize experience for our community so that we don't have to build on, because building on means building permits and it means accessibility concerns and it means a whole lot of costs. So to the community, thank you for your patience and your continued support of all the things that we're trying to do for our arena, and we will endeavor to continue to keep the community updated as we go along. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions on that? Okay, so we go to 9, notice of motion. Councillor Statham, letter of support, Elgin ATV Club.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this motion that's before you now is requesting a letter of support for the West Elgin or the Elgin ATV Club. We had a delegation a couple meetings ago from Dan Seuss, in which he talked about wanting to access some additional trails. but I think this letter of support is a little bit beyond that. It's not just about having access to some of the Integris lands. It's also about supporting the ATV club as a whole. I would draw council's attention to the reality that an active ATV community is going to generate revenue for the municipality. It's going to have riders that are constantly moving through the area. It's going to create economic benefits. And more importantly to me is it's going to benefit the safety of ATV riders in the area. And when I say that as an ATV rider myself, I can tell you that when you have people riding on those trails, the OPP, as we heard earlier in the meeting today, is they're pretty much tapped out. They don't have the time to enforce a lot of those regulations, whether it be helmets, speeds, driving on municipal roadways, et cetera, et cetera. Having an ATV club here is going to assist with the enforcement of the regulations, of the rules, and it's also going to provide wardens that are on the trails. I just don't see the downside of having an ATV club working in the community and helping out with sort of policing these trails. I think that having a letter of support issued by West Elgin would be hugely beneficial to the ATV club, and it would allow them to perhaps gain access to the rail bed, which is where this originally started from. But furthermore, it's going to promote the ATV club and have them be a little bit more able to grow in the community. So I think it's a great initiative. I think it's going to have lasting impacts, economic benefits to West Elgin, and I think it's a great idea. So that's the request I have for council. Thank you.
Okay. I can remember the delegation really well. And when the delegation came,
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, just to remind council, this is a notice of motion, so that the discussion and the motion will proceed to next week.
okay,
Okay.
so what you said is noted and it'll come up again next week, the next meeting. So we move on from there. Is that correct?
Yes, please.
Okay, so we go to 10, council inquiries and announcements. Correspondence. County of Elgin.
Yep, there's 5 different items of correspondence. Is there any items that any members of council would like to pull for discussion, letter of support, et cetera? No? Okay.
I'd like to do 11.5,
You'd like to, okay.
the conservation authorities.
So that will be discussed. Item number 12.3.
Okay. So that's noted.
Yeah.
So,
Can you read the recommendation? The other?
yeah, please.
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receive and file all correspondence not otherwise dealt with.
Okay, mover, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconded, councillor Sousa, all in favour? That's carried. Okay, so we go to 12.1. Councillor Sousa, implementation of crosswalks. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council, staff, and members of the audience. First and foremost, I want to thank members of the West Elgin Legion who are in attendance today to show their support for this motion. My motion today is having staff investigate potential options for implementing crosswalks. I believe this is an important step towards improving safety for all residents in West Elgin. Kids, students, adults, seniors, and families alike. Having standard crosswalks, crosswalk lights, signage will help prevent some, if not many, future pedestrian accidents I believe this will help slow traffic down in areas of concern and bring more awareness to all involved. We as a team have an obligation to do our due diligence for the people of West Elgin and to ensure their safety always comes first. Let's not wait for an accident to happen or a what if to happen. In addition, I would like to see consideration be given to incorporating a design element to a few of our crosswalks that honors our war veterans and serves as a lasting reminder every day, reminding us of their courage and sacrifice. This meaningful addition would not only beautify our streetscape, but also reinforce our community's deep respect for those who served. To conclude, implementing crosswalks will bring safety, awareness, positivity, vibrancy, respect, and spirit to our community we all love so dearly. Today, I would like to ask to put this motion to a recorded vote. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Questions? This is a direction to staff.
Yeah.
Yes, Deputy Mayor Tellier.
Just a clarification, so we're directing staff to bring back information regarding the costs and such for this, and then working with the Legion. If this does go forward and we find the costs effective and where we can use them.
Yeah, and mainly the roads, I think the roads that you intend are county roads, correct?
It would be both. Wherever staff sees fit that where we need, where it's needed.
So Councillor Sousa had brought this forward and I brought a motion forward, but he already done it. And so I had residents in the village of Rodney that had addressed a need. So within that report, we could address, as you're saying, other areas that would need.
Absolutely.
Because Queens and Furnival is a one that many people have come towards. You can't really see around the building. Okay, interesting. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so if you'll do the resolution, please.
The recommendation is that council direct staff to investigate potential options for the implementation of standard painted crosswalk infrastructure throughout West Elgin, with consideration be given into incorporating a design element within applicable crosswalks to honor our veterans and serve as a lasting symbol of remembrance within our community. And further, that staff include cost estimates for the installation of crosswalk lights in proximity to schools, ensuring alignment with existing or additional crossing signage.
Okay, and yeah, mover and a seconder for that. Okay,
Yeah.
Councillor Sousa, seconded. Deputy Mayor Tellier.
I'll call for the recorded vote.
I'll now call for a recorded vote. Councillor Statham,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tellier,
Yes.
Mayor Leatham,
Yes.
Councillor Denning,
Yes.
and Councillor Sousa.
Yes.
Okay, it's carried. Motion carries. And then we go to 12.2. Deputy Mayor Tellier, reinstatement of policing community.
Thank you through the chair. So yeah, I've made this motion before for a reinstatement of our policing committee that we've had in the past. As we heard from the detachment commander Holmes today, a lot of interesting information. Looks like in our community that we really could use that connect between the schools, the youth, even the young adults that aren't in school anymore, but are working in our communities, and everyone in between and our seniors. So yeah, I put this forward to have something reinstated and to look at working with all those to bring this back and do some education within community, however the committee would see fit.
Okay, Any questions? Yes, councillor Denny.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you for bringing this up, Deputy Mayor Tellier. In the past, the committee, was it a committee that was working with Dutton Dunwich, or did they have their own committee and then we would collaborate? Like, do you remember how that all worked?
Actually,
I'll send that to the mayor actually, because he was sitting on the committee at that time.
yeah, Dutton and Dunwich did want to start that, join us at one time, and then they finally, they went on their own. So they did have a community policing, but after COVID, I don't know what happened.
Would it be worth reaching out to them?
Yeah, great idea. We could have like a western end of Elgin policing committee, which is what we're doing with a lot of things right now. Like I have one coming up and it's not about policing, but we're just working with the stakeholders in the western end of the county. So could be something, a model we could look at. That would be great.
Yeah, we could, if that happened, we could have one meeting in the Dutton area, one meeting in the, the next meeting would be in West Elgin. So it could work quite well.
Well, we share a high school, and
Yeah.
it was brought up today about having maybe some high school representation on that committee. So I think it all ties in quite nicely.
We also share the Catholic elementary because they all come from as far away as Wallstown too. So that would work. Great idea. Thank you.
Okay. Anything further? No, sounds like a good thing. Thank you. Recommendation, please.
The recommendation is, whereas growing concerns in the community mount regarding safety of residents, West Elgin Council hereby directs staff to investigate reinstating the policing committee for the municipality of West Elgin, including contacting the OPP for collaboration efforts.
Mover, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconded. Councillor Sousa, all in favour? That's carried. Thank you. And we go to 13 bylaws. 13.1, the fluid and drain.
Item 11.5
Oh,
is the
Kingsville resolution.
okay.
Town of Kingsville resolution regarding the opposition to consolidation of conservation authorities. So I'll leave that.
Well, what's happening in a nutshell is the Lower Thames is a conservation authority, and the Upper Thames and all the surrounding ones, and they're trying to bring them all into one. And I can't see how it could possibly work as they are now, as they work in it individually. At least if they only brought one or two together, not 6 or 7 conservation authorities that cover huge areas. I'm afraid they're going to make a lot of decisions out of the offices and instead of hands-on. I mean, the Lower Thames, which I sit on, is responsible for the Thames. That's one of their main watersheds. If anything goes wrong on that end, Chatham literally will get flooded. I mean, how can they it just won't work if they amalgamate it too large. They can't keep everybody. A conservation authority is a different entity. We all know about floods and we all know about things, but each one has got its own thing. And when you mill them all to one, you're going to lose the quality of the service that we're getting now. And I think it would be nice to have a letter or something to go out and give our concerns. I would like that.
Okay.
So,
I might, yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor. Mark Peacock did contact me today. So Mark Peacock is the executive director for the Lower Thames Conservation Authority, expressing some concerns. The concerns come from Bill 60, which is the consolidation of conservation authorities, and the province will be establishing a conservation authority council. I'm not too sure. I have to go back to the language of that. Right now, local municipalities can direct the application and the direction for their conservation authorities. The change will be is that the conservation authority, the larger provincial, will now actually set the direction and parameters for which conservation authorities can work. they are taking all of the individual conservation authorities at this moment in time and collapsing them into 7. So then we would be structured into one conservation authority that would extend from Windsor all the way up to Guelph. And I believe the direction at your conversation at the Lower Thames Valley was for a recommendation that as opposed to doing one large for that area, but perhaps by grouping into more like-minded conservation areas. So the sort of Guelph London or Guelph region, London region would be their own, and then the Lower Thames Valley maybe to join with the Essex and the Upper Thames, Lower Thames, and the Essex authorities. So being not quite as big as the authority that maybe the province was looking at, but into maybe a more manageable one that addresses the needs of the local areas.
Yes, well said. And, you know, that's what we have to look at. We have to look at our own area that we're going to get serviced correctly. And so I would like to make that motion that we make it, we do a letter. Shall I ask council if they support that? Can I have council support on that? Does anyone want to make a motion? I certainly will.
Mr. Mayor, are you asking for a letter similar to the one of which Kingsville presented?
Similar, yes. Do we need a seconder?
Yes, I do.
Deputy Mayor Telly? All in favour?
May I speak to that?
Yes, you can speak, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for pulling this this piece of correspondence, because I think it is important. And I've given this a lot of thought as well. And I've read the Kingsville letter. I think that we can all agree that regionalization has happened in many, many different sectors in our province, in healthcare and in education. And never has regionalization offered better service, but it has always been under the promise of efficiencies and cost savings because things are getting more and more challenging to operate. The letter from the town of Kingsville states that they'd like to formally state that it opposes the consolidation of Ontario's conservation authorities without knowing the full financial and operational impact to municipalities and the conservation authorities. I am not opposed to the idea of regionalization, but I am certainly interested to know from the province what the costs are going to look like if we move into a regionalized approach to conservation authorities. So if we are to support this letter, I just want to make it very clear that I'm personally not opposed to further exploring regionalization, but I would like to see the cost analysis and the net benefit to the community before supporting such a move.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as that letter is not suggesting that I won't support a letter that says I don't want consolidation. I just would like more information before supporting it.
Absolutely.
Mr. Mayor, if I can make a suggestion, Mark Peacock offered to come and provide a presentation to council at the December 18th meeting. The province is accepting letters or communications from the community up until December 22nd. And so then we may have time of which to submit a letter if you wish to hear from Mr. Peacock.
Let's hear the delegation first then.
Yeah. If that's something you would like to consider.
Sorry. Yeah, I will remove my motion from the table and listen to the delegation first. Thank you. Okay, so we carry on. go in now? Yeah, we've got a 13 bylaws, 13.1, fluor and drain. It's the third reading.
That bylaw 2025-54, being a bylaw to provide for drainage works on the Fleur and Drain extension in the municipality of West Elgin, be read a third and final time.
Move it, please. Councillor Statham, seconded. Councillor Sousa, all in favour? That's carried, thank you. 13.2, Mills Drain, third reading.
That bylaw 2025-55, being a bylaw to provide for drainage works on the Mills Drain in the municipality of West Elgin, be read a third and final time.
Move it, please. Councillor Denning, seconded. Councillor Statham, all in favour? That's carried. And I have a conflict on 13.3, and I'm going to sit back.
Okay, it's bylaw 2025-63, stop up, close, and sell/transfer. That bylaw 2025-63, being a bylaw to stop up, close, and sell/transfer part of a road allowance for O'Malley Road between Gibb Line to the easterly limit of 23855 Gibb Line, be read a first, second, third, and final time.
Moving to seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Denning, seconded by Councillor Statham. All in favor? That is so moved.
Thank you.
And we'll move on to a confirming bylaw.
That bylaw 2025-64, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the regular meeting of council held on November 27th, 2025, be read a first, second, third, and final time.
Okay.
Are you back?
Moved by Deputy
Thank you.
Mayor Tele, seconded by Councillor Sousa. All in favour? That's carried. That takes us to adjournment.
That the Council of the Municipality of West Elgin hereby adjourn at 5:37 PM to meet again at 4:00 PM on Thursday, December 18th, 2025, or at the call of the chair.
Move it, please. Councillor Sousa, seconded. Councillor Statham, all in favour? That's carried. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.